Okay, on to question 10. So, 12 members of a running club take part in 3 runs. The table shows the times taken in hours by the 12 runners to complete the first run. Part 1, find the mode of these times. Now, obviously, your keyword there is mode. That is a type of average, and the coordinate max video for this is 56. Now, the mode means whichever one has happened the most. So, looking at that, just looking through your data, hopefully you can spot 2.1 has happened 3 times. Is there any others that have repeated? I don't think so. So that's just your answer there. 2.1, dead easy. Part 2, find the range. Again, the range is to do with averages. It isn't actually an average, the range. It is talking about how spread out the data is, so how varied it is. That's video 57 on Corbett Maths if you want to have a look at that. And the way to figure out the range is to get the biggest number, get the smallest number, and take them away. So the biggest number on there is 2.6. Smallest number on there is 0.9. So we're going to take them away. Okay. Can't do 6 take away 9, so we need to get 1 there. 16 take away 9 is 7. 1, 2, what was that? So our range is 1.7. That means the difference between the smallest thing and the biggest thing is 1.7. Part 3, a runner was chosen at random from those who took part in the first run. Find the probability that this runner took at most 1.5 hours or 1.5 hours. I didn't mean this because it puts in a different topic. This is to do with averages. This is no longer to do with average. This is to do with probability. It's basic probability, but it's just a bit nasty because it puts it in there with the averages stuff. This is on video 245. So what we need to do here is we need to have a look at, remember, the probability will be a fraction. How many times we've got in total on the bottom, so that's very easy to count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then how many took at most 1.5 hours. So all of the times, including 1.5 and under. So that one, that one, that one, and that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All the others there are over 1.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 over 12. You can simplify that down if you want to, but you don't need to. It's only 1 mark. But that would simplify down to a third if you wanted to. Right. Over the page, part B, and this is a scatter diagram or a scatter graph question. It's video 166. Scatter graphs or scatter diagrams look at 2 separate things on the same graph. So these are, each cross here represents a person, and it shows us their time for the second one and the time for the third one as a coordinate. So this person here took 1.7 hours for the second run, but 0.9 hours for the third run. And what scatter graphs allow us to do is to show what's called correlation, which is a relationship. So would you expect this one was took longer on the second one? Would you expect them to take longer on the third one? Well, yeah, you would. It's not like people don't get that much better between the second one and the third when they're not going to turn into Usain Bolt overnight, are they? So, part 1. One of these 10 runners was injured during the third run and walked most of the way. Circle the plot most likely to represent this runner. Now, what that would mean is that his time for the third run would be higher than his time for the second run, like a lot higher. Because if he's walking, he's going to be a lot slower. He's going to take a long time. So that would suggest that it's this guy up here, because he's taken 2.5 hours to do the third run, but only 0.7 hours to do the second run. So that would sort of match up with being injured in the third run. So it's that one up there. Okay. Part 2, the time in hours taken by the remaining 2 runners were these 2. Plot these on the scatter diagram. The number of times when I mark questions on this and people forget to do this. Okay, this is an easy 2 marks because this is just plotting coordinates. Runner 11 is 1.8, which is there, and 1.9, which is there. 2.2 and 2.4, 2.2, 2.4, there. Dead easy 2 marks though. Okay. Right, on part 3, using the information on the completed scatter diagram, what was the difference between the fastest time for the second run, it's important that, and the fastest time for the third run? Give your answer in minutes. Now, if you think about the fastest time, that will be the shortest time. So what we want is whichever cross is closest to 0 on the x-axis there, which is going to be this one, and whichever is closest to 0 going up. So it's actually going to be this one, isn't it? Which is the fastest time for the second run is 0.6. And it's also, this person also has the fastest time for the third one, which is what you'd expect, but that's 0.8. Okay? Now, so the difference between them, if you take them away, 0.8 take away 0.6 is 0.2. Okay? Fastest time for the second one, fastest time for the third one, so the difference there is going to be 0.2. Now, the only problem here is that these are in hours. That's 0.2 hours. And it wants the answer in minutes. So we have to do a little bit of multiplication again. We need to times this by 60 minutes. 60 times 0.2 is what it wants. It was 0.2 of an hour. Well, 60 times 2 would be 120. So 60 times 0.2 will be 10 times smaller than that, which will be 12. So your answer there is going to be 12 minutes. Okay, so if we have a little look back at our mark scheme, we're on question 10. Okay, now notice again, all of 10A are all B marks, so they're all just independent marks. Don't need to do any work out, you just need to get the answer right, that's it. Okay, so the mode 2.1, 2.1, so we've got that one right. The range 1.7, 1.7, we've got that one right. And number 3, the probability 4 over 12, got that one right. OE, remember, means or equivalent. So if you wanted to simplify that down to 1 over 3 as well, that's fine, but you don't get an extra mark for doing that. Okay, so there's those 3 B marks there. And then over the page, part 1, it says the plot at 0.7, 2.5 circle. That is that one that lines up with 0.7 there and 2.5 there. So we've got that one right. Correct plots at 1.8, 1.9, 2.2, 2.4. Well, that's where we put those before. So we've got both of those ones right. Again, just B marks. B1 if you get one of them right. Right. And the last one, this one's worth 3 marks. So you get B1 for noticing either of those two things. So if you wrote down 0.6 and 0.8, you would get 1 mark. The second mark here is your method mark for showing that you had to figure out the difference between them and then turn that into minutes by timesing it by 60. So getting a 0.2 and then timesing it by 60, writing that down is your method mark. Okay. Notice on this one, it does say FT, their difference. FT means follow through. That means if you've got these two numbers wrong, but you use them correctly here, you still get this mark. You just wouldn't get that one. Okay, and then your accuracy mark for getting 12 there. So we've got 1 mark there, 1 mark for the method around here, and then 1 mark for getting 12 there. So that's question 10.